I'm going to talk to you about larches, and I will also do some demonstrations about larches. It's the 29th of March and we are in lockdown, and it's ever so cold today. I'm wearing these gloves mainly because my fingers were freezing, so I've decided to wear these gloves while I'm working, and I'm wearing about 3 or 4, maybe 5 layers of thick coats and sweaters just to keep warm. But inside this greenhouse it's quite warm, and I'm doing self-videoing again, and I'm going to talk about larches because they are such a beautiful tree and much neglected. This is a very good example of a tanuki larch which a friend of mine made, and I purchased this tree from him. It's a beautiful tree and I'll show you the detail of it in a moment. But there are many other larches on the nursery. But because this one has been emerging inside a tunnel, so it's more advanced than the other ones. I will show you the other ones over a period of days. So this video will take several days to make. Now, why are larches not often seen in Japanese manuals and books? I've often asked this to Japanese growers. I used to go to Japan in the late 80s, 90s, and right up to the year 2008, 2009. And the Japanese, for some reason, don't like growing larch, although I did import a very large larch from Japan some years back, and I'll try and dig out the picture and show it to you. It's a beautiful larch. Now, I was told by Japanese growers that they don't like larch because it is a tree that requires a very, very cold climate. And much of Japan, especially in central Japan around Saitama, where most of the bonsai activity takes place, it is very warm, especially in the summer, and also in the winter it's not that cold. You've got to go right to the northern tip of Japan to get really cold weather. So for that reason, larches are not often made as bonsai in Japan, but nevertheless it's still a beautiful tree. The larch, by the way, in both Chinese and Japanese, is called a deciduous pine. In Chinese, they call it a drop leaf pine. That means a pine that drops its needles. And in Japanese, they call it karamatsu. Kara means empty pine. Empty pine means deciduous pine. So that is what describes the larch. There are very few conifers that are deciduous, but the larch is one of them. And that is why it makes it even more beautiful. If you see the larch throughout the 4 seasons, in the winter it is completely denuded and bare. It has its beauty like a deciduous tree. And in the spring it has this beautiful lime green, almost apple green color. So that makes it beautiful. And the autumn, I will show you some pictures of larches in autumn. You will see images of the larch with that beautiful golden color. I will now take the camera closer and show you detailed pictures or detailed shots of this larch. So let's home in on it. It's got a beautiful triangular shape and the pads all beautifully laid out. I haven't trimmed it at all because I'm going to keep the trimming for the video later on to show you how we do it. The larches are much easier to handle than the pines. It is treated very much like a maple or any other deciduous tree. It is just trimming the ends. No pinching candles or anything like that. So let's home in on this beautiful driftwood. This driftwood, I think, is made from a tree that has very soft wood, so it's not lasting very long. So unfortunately that tanuki or the driftwood part may not last forever. Now, a moment ago I was showing you that tanuki larch which I had the leaves emerge while it was in the greenhouse. Now this is another very old larch that I made from field grown material. We grow these in our field, and I just chopped the top and trained the branches to make it this beautiful leaning style. This is the tree that has this lovely lichen growing on the branches. I haven't the heart to take it off because the lichen are so beautiful, and I just want to admire it for its own sake. I know that it can eventually strangle the tree, but it's been growing like this for the last 10-15 years. It hasn't done a great deal of harm, and as you can see, each year this larch produces all these beautiful cones. That purple thing is a cone, and there are quite a few cones on this tree. There's some more over here, and the lichen makes this particularly nice. So I'm going to keep this larch like this. And this one, as I said, has been emerging in the open, has not been put away throughout the winter. So I don't know why this has emerged so quickly. I will now move on to another larch. This larch is still in training. I'm going to show you how to trim this one. This one has this beautiful S shape, and obviously trained from very young. And I'm going to keep this for a demonstration to show how to trim the ends and to keep it tight. So as I said, this video is going to be made over a long period of time, maybe over 2-3 weeks before you finally see it. So that's a larch. So these are all taken within the space of a few minutes, and just shows the development of larches in the different stages of the leaf emerging. So I've now come to another larch. This is badly in need of trimming, but as I said, I'm going to keep this for a video just to show you how these larches have to be trimmed. It's got beautiful shape, been trained for many years, and I'm going to show you how to trim these long shoots. They're very long, but I'm deliberately letting it grow because I want to show you how we deal with this. And the sun comes out from time to time on this very cold day. I'll now walk to some other larches that are lurking in the nursery, because we have quite a few of them. So while these dishojos are coming into leaf, now this great big larch here, I call it the rocket because it's really like a rocket, tall larch. There are a pair of them, and even on this one the leaves haven't emerged yet. So this is the state of this particular larch. So I will wait till the leaves emerge a little more before I complete this video. And while I'm in this vicinity, I have my very favorite larch. This is the one I made from collected material back in 1976, I think it was. It was the year we had the drought, and we didn't have rain from, I think it was June till September. And I collected from a bog in Scotland, and the bog had dried up and all the trees were dying. So I rescued this tree because it was dying already. I will show you various pictures of it. If you go to, I think, page 94 of my first book, Bonsai, The Art of Growing and Keeping Miniature Trees, it's shown as a windswept tree. But over the years, because the driftwood has been breaking and falling apart, I have now made it a semi-cascade tree. That is what we call a silver fox tokoname pot, very expensive pot. And that is the tree. It's every bit about 3 feet, 1 meter across. An exceedingly old tree. I would guess if I trained it in 1976, it's as old as some of my children. It's nearly 50 years old, I would say. And since I've been training it, and this tree would be every bit 75 years old, genuine age. So these are the larches I've got at the moment, but I'm looking across over there. I have another example where these larches were drilled as tiny seedlings. They were only about the thinness of no more than a matchstick, There were six larches planted on this piece of tufa rock, and I've been training them ever since. They're completely grown into the tufa. I don't know how it will continue growing, but I think the roots have come through the bottom, and when it comes into full leaf, I will show you this tree again. So there are a lot of examples of larches that are around the nursery, and we're going to have fun showing you what to do with them. So here we are, these long shoots. So all I'm doing is pulling these long shoots back. So for want of a better expression, it's just like giving the tree a haircut. If you're not careful, a lot of these branches grow inwards and you will get a lot of congestion there. A lot of downward pointing shoots, those certainly we don't want. Hasn't had much wiring done ever since the wire was removed, so it's still very nice. This is the new apex. The apex has I think needs a little more density. So I'll take another shot. So this is a front view of the tree. The apex is a bit weak, but I will now give it more of a crown, and certainly within the next year it will develop again. Some of these branches are clouding and coming in the way, so because this is the front, I'm going to remove these. I don't need that. So that's open that out. Also, this is dangling too much. I'll take this off. So these are just the finer points that you have to watch. So the pads are okay. This is also too long. So we now have to deal with the top. I will just do a bit of wiring. I'll try and self-video that. This branch is kicking out too much, so I'm going to wire it and bring it back. And I'm going to do a bit of untidy wiring because it's only for training. I'm not showing the tree. So I'm going to give it a kick back from here. Hopefully this needs only to be left on the tree for one season, and it should do the trick. Bring it back this way. I'm now going to choose a pot for this tree. As I said, it's not really a semi-cascade tree. but because the branches are hanging so low down, it has the look of a semi-cascade. So I will try this semi-cascade pot to see how it looks. This pot could fit, but it is a bit on the small side. So let me try something else. Let me try this one. This seems to be a bit bigger. I may use this one. Sure, I don't need to show you the process of repotting. I'll repot it and show you the final result. So this is the tree repotted in a cascade or semi-cascade pot. I used a slightly larger and taller pot rather than the squat one on the right, so I decided not to use the one on the right, and it's been planted like so. The branches at the bottom are very dense and heavy, so I have to keep an eye on it because I want to push all the energy to the crown. So you can see where the crown is deficient. That's got to be built up to make a nice rounded dome. So this is what the future of the tree will be like, and hopefully by the end of the year you will see it looking completely different. So there's an exercise in pruning a larch.